everyone here. Here's Lick of the Day number 108. This is Lydian alternate picking run. As usual, you can find a link to the tabs in the description below or by clicking right here on the screen. Gonna play it once slowly and then break it down. And after the breakdown of the whole thing, I'm gonna share some practice advice. You can get this up to speed much quicker. So check that out. We start here on the 18th fret of the B string. Alright, so this one is based on F Lydian. It's just like an F major scale but with a sharp 4 instead. So you go to get that Lydian sound. The sequence, except for the first few notes in the beginning, it's basically one of Paul Gilbert's licks from his first instructional video backwards. So in that one, we would basically go up like that. So up 6 notes, move up a position, up 6 notes. This one we do that in reverse and also in another key. So before getting into that though, let's just check out the first 8 notes before that. So we start here on the 18th fret. And I think in the fast version I actually started with the 3rd finger. And that's because of the fingering here where you have 15, 17, 18. And then on the next string you have 15, 17, 19. That's where one of the few shapes where I suggest students as well to not use the pinky as the last note on a 3-note per string scale. Otherwise, I tend to do that mostly, but this one just fits better with 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4. But you can try different fingering, so at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. But that's the way that I did it in the fast version. So the sequence, and we have 5 notes on the B string. So basically I've taken 18, 17, 15 and then back. And then we have 3 notes here, 15, 17, 19. And then we shift up to 20. And now the actual descending 6th sequence begins here. So we go down 6 notes. That's going to be 20, 19, 17, 20, 18, 19. Then if you look at the 5th note here in the sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's where your pinky is going to be. So, because that's where the next descending 6 is going to start. So, if you can keep an eye out for that, it will be way easier to sort of orient yourself here. So from this point, we're going to play 18, 17, 15, and then we have 17, 16, 14. And then as before, we go to the 5th note, and that's where our pinky is going to be for the next descending 6. And this descending 6 is going to be 16, 14, 12, 15, 14, 12. And again, same thing, start on the 5th note in that pattern. So we're going to have 2 whole steps here on both strings. So 14, 12, 10, 14, 12, 10. Then we do this thing again. And we're gonna have another set of 2 whole steps. So we're gonna have 12, 10, 8, 12, 10, 8. And then for the final group of 6, it's gonna be an ascending one, starting on the 7th fret, and go up 7, 8, 10 on the low E and the A. So we end up here, which is the 3rd of the key, and then we go like this. So basically, and then I slide up to the 5th fret and bend that up to the root. So that's basically the whole thing. So if we play that again from the beginning. Practice-wise here, I would take this throughout the whole scale, and then you can get different sounds as well. So instead of starting on this one, maybe start on E here. So you go then start on D. and so on. So that's a really good way to expand these licks tonally as well, not only for the technique stuff. And if you have a really hard time with this picking line, I would suggest that you go to what I call the mechanical practice, where you basically break it down to, in this case, 3 notes per string. So we're gonna have 3 fingers at a time, and the possible combinations we have of fingers would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. And then apply this sequence to each fingering. And since we have a position shift here, what I tend to do then is just mimic that by moving a half step. So in this case, we're gonna move down a half step for each repetition. So we start here with 1, 2, 3, and we're starting on a random fret here. So we have 15, 16, 17. Then I play the sequence as is, so down with 6 notes. Now I shift down 1 half step. So the rest of the lick is intact in terms of, if you would take this and just put X's on the tablature diagram, it will look the same. It's just that we, instead of X's now, we have these weird frets, right? But in terms of notes per string, it's the same. We have simplified the fingering a lot, and also the position shifts. But the thing is, if you can't play this, you're not going to be able to play the whole thing up to speed anyway. So it's a good idea to work through these different fingerings. So, you know, if that's kind of weird actually, but technically though, once you've done that a few times, you're going to see that, you know, it's a very predictable pattern, and it's going to be way less brain power needing to be used, and you can focus on the technique, meaning the synchronization and the picking. So you do that with 1, 2, 3, but not at that tempo, obviously. And then you do the same thing, start over again, and you do the same thing with 1, 2, 4. So you go. 1, 3, 4. And 2, 3, 4. That's no one's favorite, but it's really good to work on anyway. Almost got it. But the thing is, you don't really need to get all of these up to the same speed necessarily. I think you should get the 1, 2, 4 and 1, 3, 4 though. It's probably the most important ones, because that's the fingers you're going to be using for the actual scale shapes you're going to be using. But working on 2, 3, 4 can be really helpful overall for balancing the left hand. Alright, that's it for this one. If you have any questions, just post them below. And also please like, subscribe and comment. Any comment will actually help the whole algorithm thing. So if you could do that, I really appreciate it. And I hope to enjoy this one, and see you in the next one.